Morning, Joe 508. How are you? So this is the official second day of class, okay, which is Tuesday, the 19th of June, 2018. And so I gave you a quick kind of run through about a week ago before the class started of just kind of how to navigate. And this is how we're going to roll. I'm going to continue to kind of guide you through what each week is all about and just how to succeed. And I know, probably right out of the blocks, you guys are looking at the material going, oh my God, this stuff is so intense. But it doesn't matter, and we expect you to learn this at the level that you're most comfortable with, and not at the level expected of a biology professor. Okay, so I think if you relax and reduce the stress, we call it the no stress express. Okay, you'll be amazed at how much you're going to absorb on this material and then apply it to your daily lives. You'll be really, really entertaining at parties from now on because you're going to be able to come up with some amazing facts about stress. Okay, all right. I'm going to go down here and I want to reiterate what Julia has posted. Put my picture out of the way right here. And so just put down, again, the calendar dates that you need to think about. It is a fast-paced course, okay? So we do it at what's normally a 15-week course. We do it in 6 weeks, okay? And so you're going to see that you're going to have a doubling up in terms of material. And so just do note when things are due, okay? We have the open book midterm and final exams on these dates. You have to contact Julia if you're not able to do it at the Pacific Standard Time date indicated, okay? So go ahead and look at that calendar and then call into Julia, or calling to Julia, email Julia, okay? They're open world, open book, everything, okay? And it's only 30 multiple choice questions each. I'm going to go over the journal paper marking pamphlet again. Okay, we've actually put in a wonderful, wonderful example from Sarah from last year's class, and you'll see how that is. And so you can just kind of get a feel of what she did, and then put your own personal flavor, own personal stamp on that. Okay, we have made the quizzes available to you to take through the entire semester. If this was a normal 15-week class, we would put time constraints on that, but we're not here. Okay, the only time constraint is that we want to have this interaction with you, and that's at the level of the discussions. Okay, so you'll see this right in here. So again, yesterday was the 18th. Okay, so what we basically do is we have these set up as lectures. Okay, the material. So we're all going to look at um, the central theme of this week, and that was Stress, A Portrait of a Killer, and it includes Robert Sapolsky, but a number of other people that will be useful resources throughout this semester, this summer semester. It's well worth it. It's played out for the general public, and then there are two subsequent videos that uh, um, uh, were again done by Robert Sapolsky, where he stresses, the psychology of stress. Okay, and then he gets into, why we as humans get so wrapped up in our world, and we tend to ruminate on things and grind and grind. Okay, so anyways, and I'll get into that in a second. Okay, but what we really want to do is see what you have to do. All right, so for this first week, okay, these are the topics. Okay, these are the activities. So you got to do your first two discussions. Okay, two separate topics, and we'll go over those in a second. Okay. So this lays it out. This is the three Sapolsky videos that I was talking about. And then we'll go through the reading right here, okay? And then we have the second week, and we'll do that step by step, okay? The second week, again, has a video on this concept of epigenetics and how stress can completely modify which genes are turned on in your genome, in your DNA, okay? And then we'll go through some really cool interactive exercises at the Learn Genetics website, and then we'll go through what is an amazing article, written at the level of a stress scientist, but that you guys will now understand. Okay, all right. So we really recommend that you, in terms of, you look at this as deliverables. So in the business world, you really need to get this done. So you get your quizzes done, okay? And you also are going to be doing this, the discussion. And many of you tapped in, and I'm going to be interacting with you this week on that, as well with Julia and Tim. Okay. So then we come to the second week, okay, we see right here, and this is, again, remember this is deliverable, okay? So you see that these two discussions are due, okay? And you see they have to be completely submitted by Monday at 11:59 p.m. And then what will happen is those two discussions will close, okay? And then what will happen is the next discussions will open up, okay? And these are the next discussions that will be open for the subsequent week again, and then they will close, okay? They open on Tuesday the 26th, and then they will close the following Monday. And we see this right here, okay? Right here, July 2nd, okay? Alrighty, look at that. So your journal paper submission is going to be due, all right? So you need to get on this. It's not very difficult, okay? Alrighty, so that's how it goes. And we'll go through this, this really nicely scheduled set of activities, what you need to do, and the deliverables every single time I prepare one of these lectures for you, okay? All right, so how do you get into this material? All righty, so what we want to do is let's just start by looking at the written material. You can start right away, okay? So I'm going to look on here. So these are the things that are due. So you see July 2nd is coming up, okay? And then the last one, at the very end of the semester, is the corporate pamphlets. Okay, so what are these? Okay, so if we click on this, so we put down in here what it is we hope that you will get out of it, your learning objective. This is the description, the assignment, and then very clear-cut assignments, their directions that Julia, Tim, and I will then use as our rubric for grading it. You know, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And did you do this? Okay. And with respect to that, okay, did you follow this part right here? Okay. All right. And we just really want you to have fun with this. Okay. So do understand that you're going to be designing a study. You don't have time to get data. So you will kind of make up the data and have fun with that, how you're doing it. Okay. How you might predict it to the outcome to be based on what you're learning. So right here, if we click on this, okay, this is, and again, an example paper. Okay, this was done by, like I said, Sarah Holtzman. And so hers is about exercise. So her title was High Intensity Exercise Paired with Team Building to Develop Resiliency Against Daily Stress. Boy, that sounds like a great program that you might develop, okay, in your business, okay, that you are now operating, some type of assisted living or wellness business, okay? So as you go through this, you can follow and see what Sarah did. She has an abstract, okay? She has the introduction where she cites the articles that are supportive of her concept, okay? She came up with methods, okay? All right, and they have detailed methods so that any program can now follow what she has done. Again, the methods had supportive information, okay, right here, from the literature, okay. Then she made these mock results, okay, and this is what came out of it. She plotted it. These are beautiful, okay, beautiful, beautiful graphs illustrating this differential outcome, okay. She then has a discussion where she interprets her results with respect to the literature, okay, right there. And then she has her citations, okay? And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So she did 12, all right? So you go back, okay? So that was a great job by Sarah last year, okay? So you go back up here and you look, and she far exceeded what we wanted to do, and that's okay, okay? So you see that we only wanted a one-page face page, one-page abstract, the 4 pages. So hers was about 12 in total, everything, okay, of introduction, method, results, because she had fun with it, and then 1 reference page, okay. We said the references should list 10 papers that you cite, okay. A simple rubric that we're doing, okay. So that's how that works, okay. we've done the same thing down here. This is at the end, and this is Sarah's corporate pamphlet. So again, you're going to now be marketing all of the new knowledge you have in terms of your facility that you're going to be operating. Okay, and hopefully this will come up here in a sec. It's kind of bouncing around right now. There it is. Okay, so this she's continued on with her concept of a health pub. Okay, and so see how beautifully this is put together, very professionally, and you can see yourself putting this out there, as an attachment in an email to potential clients, um, as a downloadable advertisement, anything. Okay, and you can see that again, it's the same concept. She's using what she's learned in class and applying it. Okay, and again, she uses her references. So this is a lot more um, believable if I'm sitting there thinking, God, I really want to be part of this because look at how deep her knowledge is. Okay, that's what that's all about. That will come later. All right, so um, that's how you do that. All right, so now we're going to come back in here, okay, and we're going to look at what it is we're doing right now. Now, all the discussions are discussing the knowledge that you now gain from the readings. So they are totally linked, okay? So if we look right now at the readings, okay, for this week, okay, and the readings had the movies that I was talking about, okay? Again, think of stress, think of cortisol. We're going to think about the brain mechanisms of stress, okay? And we're going to get into that one because it lays it out here, and we look at this article right here, okay? So that was the first assignment. Then if you come over here to the discussion, okay, you see the prompt, okay? It's based on what it is we did, okay? And what we want you to do is use your own personal experiences, okay, as indicated here, that model what it is that we've talked about, okay? And we all have these personal experiences, okay? And just to kind of personalize this, what I've done is I've gone ahead and kind of prepared recent, very stressful personal experiences, but that both myself and Julia have been going through, right? So if we look right here, okay, go right there, all right. So that, my friends, of course, is my knee, okay, and what you see here in my, let's see if I can copy that way. There we go. All right. So this right here is my knee. Okay, and this was what it looked like in November. I had broken all these bits and pieces off my knee. You see how it grew abnormally over 30 years of just being an athlete and having a really bad surgery when I was in my 20s. I'm going to be 62 on June 30th. And this is what I had done on March 6th of this year. And believe me, this was incredibly stressful. It was so painful. I did not come downstairs for 2 weeks. Thank God for the caregiving of my beautiful wife, Julia. Okay. But it was a very physiological, stressful, and psychologically stressful situation because my essence of who I am is being a surfer. I have been since I was a little kid, and suddenly that was taken away from me. So I haven't been able to surf since November, so that's almost 7 months. And I did go to the doctor yesterday, the guy that put this in, and he said, I'm clear to surf after 3.5 months, which is absolutely phenomenal. Okay. All righty. So, what next? Okay. So, here we are again. This is another stressful situation. Okay. So, this is Julia a few years back. She's at UCSD Moores Cancer Institute. Okay. Julia has leukemia. And so she's been in a clinical trial for about a year and a half. The drugs that she has to take, there's no free lunch. She's been into the infusion center over and over again for specific antibodies to fight her cancerous immune system cells, these B cells. And then she has to take 3 pills a day. Okay. She is a total trooper on this, believe me. But like I said, there is no free lunch on this. Okay. So this is again a picture of her at one of her infusion sessions. Anytime you get that diagnosis of cancer, it's a very, very, very stressful situation. Okay. Okay. Um, And this is something that I want you guys to look at, and we're going to get to that in a second. Okay, so what we're going to do, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I am in trouble here. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so what I can do is this, and I'm going to hit copy, okay, and then we're going to go back to the course, okay, and the course is right there. All right, awesome. Sorry about that. Okay, so the reason I went to this second thing, and I'm going to send this to you as well, but if you go right here, and we go right here, okay, and we go to this link.
Well, thanks to
Julia wrote a letter to President Obama, okay, and it had to do with health insurance and the Affordable Care Act. Before she, when she was diagnosed with cancer, and before the Affordable Care Act was enacted, if you had a pre-existing condition, your insurance could kick you out. Okay, very, very stressful. And the cost of cancer care, her first year of clinical trial, the cost was $300,000. $300,000 for 1 year. So, so she wrote a letter to President Obama, and he contacted her and included his views on the Affordable Care Act and her personal story. And we'll put this right.
Monica, thanks to everybody.
It comes up about the 4-minute mark.
Of the evidence. But I would advise them to check with the people who are here today and the people that they represent all across the country whose lives have been changed for the better by the Affordable Care Act. You know, the other day I got a letter from Julia Walsh in California. Earlier this year, Julia was diagnosed with leukemia and lymphoma. I have a lot of things to worry about, she wrote. But thanks to the Affordable Care Act, there are lots of things I do not have to worry about, like whether there will be a lifetime cap on benefits or whether my treatment will bankrupt my family. And I can't begin to tell you how much that peace of mind means. That's what the Affordable Care Act means to Julia. She already had insurance, by the way, but because this law banned lifetime limits on the care you or your family can receive, she's never going to have to choose between providing for her kids or getting herself well. She can do both. Sam Weir, a doctor in North Carolina, emailed me the other day.
All right, so pretty awesome stuff. Okay, now I'm going to try and get out of this, okay? And we're going to go back over here to our class. It just shows you the power of being an advocate. Okay, all right, where are we here now? All right, so I want to get into the actual subject material. So yes, personalize your stressful experience, okay? And you know what? Having a support group is the biggest thing that you can do, the most important thing you can do to get through these really stressful situations. And that's where I have come in terms of being a champion for Julia, and she was a champion for me. Okay, and social support, we're going to talk about this in depth in this class, how important that is to your well-being and for minimizing stress. Okay, alrighty, so let's go back to the readings, okay? All right, so we're going to go back in here, we're going to go back into this first part right here, okay? And we're going to come down here, okay? And we're going to download the PDF file, okay? Alrighty, so it goes through stress, this article, okay? And it's, you know, once you've watched the videos, this reading will be very, very easy for you, okay? And it talks about things like, you know, how we first looked at stress, okay, in the brain. It was more of a psychological viewpoint, okay? And the kind of purely psychological states in terms of things, but that we've learned that the stress response is a much bigger deal, and it has greater effects on your overall health. Okay, so we learned about the effects of stress on the brain. Right here. Okay, looking at things on memory function. Okay, and behavioral regulation. And we're going to learn about this triad of the hippocampus, which is our memory. Okay, and then the frontal cortex, which is our decision maker. Okay, and these two areas affect a third area that is our anger rage center, and also it's the center that gets activated when you find out that you have a diagnosis like cancer. Okay, so that's your fear center. It's called the amygdala, and it's the interaction of these three that gets disrupted during stress. These guys, the hippocampus, okay, and the prefrontal cortex, okay, normally act to inhibit this amygdala so you don't get so stressed out. But people that are chronically stressed, you know, cancer patients, people with clinical depression, these areas, this part and this part, shrink. And therefore, the stress response is allowed to free run. And there are significant problems that happen with this. And one of them has to do, for example, here, your immune function and inflammation. Okay. All righty. So again, just read through this and don't worry about the science of it. Okay. The concept of the inverted U is, yes, a little bit of stress, okay, is a good thing, okay, all right, because that way we can adapt when big stress happens, okay. But if you have chronic overstimulation, that's a bad thing, okay. And that's this concept of this inverted U. All right, so just read through this. I'm not going to read the article for you, but I think you'll find that you're going to do quite well. Okay, all right. So now we're going to go back here, okay? And so that's the first lecture, and then we'll look at lecture number 2, okay? And this is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a second video for this, okay? Where I'm not going to do so much of this is how the course is run concept, but you can look at how stress can affect your genetics, which is amazing, okay? And a kind of a way to look at that is if you're operating a business and you have 1,000 employees, I'm sorry about that, okay, we're gonna get action there, and you have 1,000 employees, and it normally cooks along, does really well, but because you're stressed out, you get rid of all those employees and put new ones in, okay, and now this business doesn't work as well. Kind of a bad analogy, but we're going to see how all that works. That's epigenetics. So I'm going to send you a video on this in just a couple days, okay? Alrighty. This right here is the interactive exercise. I'll show you how you get it. You either click here or click here. I'm going to click here, okay? And it takes you right to this. And what you're going to do is, at your leisure, have fun with you. Go through all this, okay? I found 2 of these things. We'll click right here, all right? You have to have the ability to run Flash. So I hit Flash, I say allow, okay? And up comes this Flash exercise. And the idea now is we're gonna look at, this is our DNA, and these little tiny epigenetic tags. So the DNA is, your blueprint. That doesn't change. But your life experiences, are you going through stress? Do you have a crappy diet? That changes these little red and little green tags, and as they change, then that changes the messenger RNA that leaves the cell to produce new proteins. And we're going to watch right here. So watch as this thing unwinds, because I'm really stressed out, okay? And as see how it's unwinding, okay? And that means the DNA has more access, okay? Then it coils back up and you get rid of your stress. Now we can look down here, okay? And as I unwind, what's happening to the level of my RNA? You see it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, okay? Because there's more of the recipes being produced, okay? All right, let's do this again, okay? Now we're gonna look at, so we've unwound the DNA, we have more recipes, and then we come over here, look here, and you'll see that as I unwind the DNA, more and more proteins expressed. Fun exercise for sure. Go through that and have fun with it. This one right here is completely topical based on what's going on with our current immigration. And what I'm talking about here is we are now pulling children away from their mothers, okay? And the edict is the personnel in the camps where the children are not supposed to coddle, not supposed to pick up the children, and not supposed to do anything to keep them from crying. This is kind of an animal model for that. What happens if a mother is not there for its pup in terms of its DNA? The long-term consequences to these poor children's health of not being nurtured at a maternal level is unimaginable, and it will affect their health the rest of their lives. So this is something very pertinent, and I want you again to have fun with this. It's the second assignment for this week. All right, so I was pretty long-winded. Okay, I'm going to come back here to the announcements. Okay, and I'll be sending out to you a second video. But I hope you have fun with that first video, and I'll send a link to the President Obama lecture as well. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that lecture, and we'll see you next time.